Hello everybody, this is Vince for Life here, and today we're going to be doing some more UC content. Um, I like doing this stuff. I love watching the UFC. So yeah, hopefully I get to do more. Um, plus it's like the only really interesting thing going on right now, besides like the Club World Cup. But yeah, yeah, I'll do that eventually once it gets to, like the knockouts and stuff. But yeah, um, so we're going to be doing UFC 317 main card predictions. And oh yeah, something different. I'm only gonna be giving clips to the people I want because this is my channel. I can do whatever the fuck I want. So with that being said, let's get into it. Kicking off the main card, we have Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. Okay, so how this is gonna work? We're gonna do the fighter breakdown, and then I'm gonna get into who's gonna win. And yeah, let's get into it. Peyton Talbot it's pretty known that he's a very aggressive, high volume striker and he thrives on like maintaining a relentless pace. Like you've seen it in the Contender Series, you've seen it in his UFC fights or his fights in the UFC. Yeah, the only thing about him, well, okay, first want to make a note. He's a great striker. That's his primary ability, and it's what got him to 9-0. Great striker. The only thing is that his takedown defense and his grappling absolutely sucks. We saw that in the Barcelos fight. He got 30-27 across the board. It was bad. He couldn't defend a takedown to save his mother's life. And that's exactly why I think that Felipe Lima is going to dominate him. Felipe Lima is a very um, aggressive wrestler, and he's primarily a wrestler, but his striking is growing. And even though he's a young prospect, his striking is still growing. Um, he's beginning to use his striking ability to set up his explosive takedowns. And Peyton Talbot, if okay, that's I'm going under the assumption that he hasn't changed anything since UFC 311 and that his takedown defense is still the same. It's gonna be hard for him to try to strike and have to worry about the takedowns. It's hard for a fighter to do that. That's why grappler slash wrestler versus primary strikers never really go well for the striker. Look at it like Khabib and Conor or O'Malley and Merab. You have to worry about so much it takes away from your ability. So yeah, if he's drastically improved his takedown defense and his grappling, I think this fight could turn out very different than what I just said. I feel like Talbot can knock him out. But if he hasn't, which is probably the more likely outcome in for a young prospect like this early in his UFC career, I I don't I don't see how he wins this fight. He would have to knock him out. And even that, like Felipe Lima is not a bad striker at all. He's a pretty good striker in it, but he's primarily a wrestler. So yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a submission in round two for Felipe Lima. I feel like he finds it, climbs his way up the bantamweight rankings, and yeah, I it's gonna be hard for Talbot to win this fight. I love him, but it's gonna be hard. All right, going on to the next one. We have number 9 ranked Beneil Dariush versus number 11 ranked Renato Moneyman Moicano. This fight was actually supposed to happen at UFC 311, but Arman Tsarukyan pulled out against Islam Makhachev the day before the fight, and Moicano had to step in, meaning this fight was basically voided. I heard Beneil he was or very greatly compensated for this fight. I think he got the show and the win money. So yeah, they're doing the rematch, or not the rematch, but they're doing the fight that was supposed to happen. And yeah, okay, let's go into the fighter breakdown. Dariush is a very technical and smart fighter, and he blends his like he's a very heavy hitting striker with his grappling. We kind of saw with the Oliveira fight. Even though he got dominated, but you could see like the glimpses. Um, he's a very smart fighter, and he's got solid wrestling. But yeah, and he's an efficient striker too. But the only downfall is that he can't seem to be opponents that are like substantially better than him. He lost like the Oliveira fight, he got absolutely destroyed. And he's just inconsistent. He But yeah, now going on to Moicano. Moicano is a different fighter. He's a flute striker with good Muay Thai and really good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And he's a creative striker too. We've seen his knockouts. He's a very creative striker. The thing is that his wrestling kind of sucks, you know? It's he doesn't he can't like we saw it in the Makachev fight. He got absolutely dominated as soon as the fight hit the floor, you know? And Dariush is a good wrestler. So, yeah, and also he's very chinny, so I feel like whatever way this fight goes, Dariush wins. I mean, Dariush can knock him out, and he can submit him too. If the fight goes to the floor, I think it's gonna be tough for Moicano because Dariush is a pretty good wrestler. But yeah, and we saw him up against a good wrestler in Islam. Again, Islam's the top of the top, but we saw what happened. There's no excuse for that. He got absolutely destroyed. So yeah, I feel like Dariush is not, or, I'm sorry, Moicano is not a good enough opponent for Dariush for him to lose to. But I feel like he gets this win. And yeah, Dariush is one of those fighters that he can beat people below him, but he can't really beat that many people above him. And that's why I think it's gonna be. I think he knocks him out in the third round. As soon as the fight, Moicano's got bad cardio too, so as soon as the fight gets like tiring, Dariush is knocking him out. Okay, and now with that being said, we're gonna roll the Moicano clip. Okay, now coming back from that, um, don't ask why I gave him the clip. I just want to give him the clip because he's gonna lose, so you got to be a little nice. You know what I mean? But yeah, going on to the next fight, we have Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Pretty sure this is Joshua Van's first fight in the UFC. Actually, no, it's not. I don't think so. I'm sorry, no, he doesn't have that many fights in the UFC. I'm sorry, because he's ranked, so it can't be his first fight. But yeah, number one Royval versus number 12 Joshua Van. Royval, very high energy, explosive. He's a pretty explosive grappler, and he's a submission. He's kind of a submission artist. You know, his what's it called? His his striking is pretty good, but I feel like he relies more on his grappling, and that's what brought him to the top of the flyweight division. I mean, he's number one. You know, he's only really lost like bad Pantoja, you know? And Joshua Van, I mean, he hasn't had that many fights in the UFC, but he shows he's a pretty balanced fighter. He's a decent striker and he has pretty good grappling, but he's just a well-rounded, good cardio, shows a lot of durability. I mean, he's fought like 6 times in the past calendar year. He is very young, and he's really durable too. I mean, he fought like 2 weeks ago, and but the thing is, he's less experienced and he's probably tired from fighting 6 times in a year. You know, like that's like Kevin Holland type stuff. And look at him. But yeah, he's just less experienced than Royval, and I feel like Royval's explosive grappling is what's gonna get him in trouble. So I think this is either going to be a decision, Royval by decision, or Royval by submission in the in the in the second or third round. Um, I feel like Royval is just the more experienced fighter, and Joshua Van is probably tired. You know, he's fought a lot, so yeah, I feel like Royval's had a full camp too. So I think I think he edges this one out comfortably. All right, now moving on to the first title fight of the night. The champion of flyweight, Alexander Pantoja, the most disrespected person in the UFC, versus the number 4 contender, or the number 4 ranked person in flyweight, Kai Kara-France. They fought before, this was 9 years ago. In the press conference that just happened today, Kai Kara-France, he literally said, that was 9 years ago, I was a boy, I'm a man now, so you better be ready. I respect him, he's a really good fighter, but yeah, this is gonna be a really fun fight. Let's get into the breakdown. Okay, so Pantoja, he's a well-rounded fighter. He's got good striking, but it's no doubt that his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is his main his main style. You know, that's what he mainly uses. So, yeah, he's an aggressive grappler. He puts the pressure on his opponents. That's why he's so good at his submissions and stuff. And that's basically what happened in the Asakura fight. He just put the pressure, got the takedown, got the submission. Really good wrestling, really good at using scrambles, and he uses his good striking. He's a good striker. You can't be a champ like Pantoja and not a good striking. He uses his good striking to set up his takedowns, just like Felipe Lima. But he executes this perfectly, and that's why he's being able to have 5 title defenses or whatever it is, and that's why he's able to beat Kara France before. Um, so yeah, great fighter, heavily disrespected. He should be top 4 in the pound for pound, in my opinion. But yeah, it's not for Kara France. He's a very slick and very fast-paced striker, and he has good head movement, and his kicking is good, but he's just susceptible to takedowns, and I feel like it's just a stylistic nightmare for him. Pantoja is just gonna exploit this, because Pantoja can last on the feet, and he can take it to the ground if he wants to. That's why these grapplers who have good striking are so feared in the UFC, because they have so many ways to take the fight that it's so much like he's like these well-rounded fighters. They can take the fight anywhere and they could win. They he could submit you and he can knock you out, or he can take it the distance and beat you by decision as well, if need be. But yeah. But one thing I want to say about Pantoja is that he's not necessarily a power puncher. His striking is used more to set up his takedowns and to like hurt his opponent. Um, like before going in for the takedowns, he's not necessarily like a knockout specialist, but I'm sure he could if he needed to. But yeah, I don't think Kai Kara France is experienced enough on the ground to like take that ability away from Pantoja, and that's why I feel like it's going to be a submission in round 2. I think it's going to be round 2 submission from Pantoja. There's no way this goes the distance though, in my opinion. It's either going to be a knockout or a submission. But yeah, I feel like Pantoja wins this comfortably, and in my video before, I feel like he moves up to bantamweight and then takes on Merab, in my opinion. But yeah, Pantoja by submission, and you know what? We gonna roll the clip for Pantoja. Let's go.
If one shot lands that Pantoja. Oh!
Okay, now coming back from that, the fight of the night, the moment we've all been waiting for. Ilia Topuria versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira. This is gonna be such a good fight. I am so excited for this. This is for the the vacant lightweight title. Gonna be such a good fight. Um, yeah, so let's get into the fight breakdown. Okay, so Ilia, very aggressive striker, as we know, has knockout power, and he's yeah, his knockout power is insane. We saw it with Volk, we saw it with Max Holloway, two arguably the goats of their division, by the way. Like that, we're just gonna put that out there. Like Ilia is the real deal. He's the best boxer in the UFC. But yeah, he Ilia's ability to put the pressure on his opponents. Um, he's excellent at that. He's got the fast hands, he's got the precise striking, and he has pretty good takedown defense too. He can make and of course, he submitted off-duty firemen early in his UFC career. He has 8 submissions, but those guys weren't anything much. But I'm sure that he could hold his own against Charles. He's not going to get absolutely dominated on the ground if Charles decides to take it there. But I honestly think that actually, I can't. I'm not going to say my verdict yet. We'll get into the Charles breakdown. Okay, so Charles, very known that he's a submission artist. He has what, like 20 submissions or in his career or something like that. I don't know. Um, and he's a heavy grappler as well, and he uses his striking to like set up his stuff. Yeah, he can strike. He knocked out Chandler. He's knocked out a bunch of these other guys. Right, he's a really good striker, but there's no doubt that his submissions and his grappling is primarily his strength. But yeah, he's the most dangerous submission fighter in UFC history. He excels off of what's it called? He excels off of like this balance between like his striking arsenal and setting up his takedowns and stuff, just like Pantoja. It's a common theme with these Brazilian guys. That's what they like to do, and they're so good at it. But the only thing about him is that his striking defense can be lackluster at times. Like we've seen he's gotten hurt in all of like so many of these fights against Poirier. Actually, I don't know if it was against Poirier, but against Gaethje and against Chandler. Like he's gotten he's gotten hurt, and if he got hurt by Justin Gaethje, you can assume that Ilya's gonna hurt him too. Whether the fight ends there, we'll have to see. But oh, and going back, like some weaknesses about Ilya is that he sometimes overcommits, and he can be caught by like these counters. You saw it in the Holloway fight. Sometimes he overcommits, and then he like gets hit with the counter. And I feel like if Charles can exploit that, the fight can end differently. But and yeah, he's new at lightweight. We'll see what he's like at 155. But nevertheless, it pains me to say this because I love Charles, but I feel like it's going to be a knockout in rounds 1 or round 2. As soon as Charles gets hurt, that fight's over. There's no way he gets back up. There's no way. Like, Ilya ain't no Gaethje, or he ain't no Michael Chandler. He's Ilya Topuria. Like, if you get hit, you're cooked. Even Max Holloway, one of the best chins in UFC history, probably the best chin in UFC history, got absolutely slammed. So yeah, and in honor of this being such a good fight, we're gonna roll the clip for both of them. And okay, with that being said, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully this video does well. And yeah, make sure to like, sub, comment if you want. Let me know if you think I'm a dumbass for my takes, but I mean, I hope not, but yeah, just show some support, Be greatly appreciated. So yeah, hope y'all have a good rest of your day. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.